Thomas Merton has a volume written in his desert years entitled simply Bread in the Desert. And we have in today's Gospel something of that taking place before our eyes. The hand of the Lord has not been shortened, and this miracle of providing for his people in an empty place is renewed still from time to time. And I've had here more than once in retreat a good lassie who has had that experience when handling the poor. Miracles of creation of matter ex nihilo. And one day she was so surprised at what was going on in her hand that she decided to control it mentally, and she was simply giving off all that she had each time to the poor, and they only had a little bit in reserve, but she gambled on providence and power, and the Lord didn't let her down. And she saw that actually the quantity was only ever changed when it got to the last person, when there was no more left. And that testimony I've had from others too. I remember in the 80s, in the huge charismatic renewal that we had going on in France in those days, that was happening. They would gamble on providence. They would no longer want anything to be put, as it were, in concrete terms of fees, just donations. But the number coming to these massive conventions was far greater than those they expected, and they just had a little bit to give, and it came coming, kept coming and kept coming until the last person was served. Creation of matter. And in that same convention I saw things happening. There was a person in the place whose leg grew to the same size as the other on the spot, and so on. The arm of the Lord is not shortened. That is the power that we have. We have it on 3 levels in this sacred season, as we are told by the Fathers. We are waiting for the threefold birth of our Saviour, who is wisdom. The Father is power, and the Spirit is love. And we have the intimate life of the Trinity coming out in this season. We share in it, we are caught into this circumcision. Joy and love going around the veins of the Blessed Trinity and coming into us and encircling the whole world. An explosion at midnight. And this was picked up by St. Bernard of Clairvaux. We have 3 masses at Christmas: midnight, dawn and day. The last, of course, has the ancient last Gospel, John. In the beginning was the Word. But the others have peace and quiet, and we need to look at this. We have, says St. Bernard of Clairvaux, come to know a threefold coming of the Lord. The Lord coming. The third coming takes place between the other 2. They are clearly manifest, but the third is not. In the first coming, the Lord was seen on earth and lived among men. In the days when, as he himself bears witness, they saw him and, notice, hated him. That echoes the first words of the Gospel of St. John. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. It could be our case too. He's most wounded by his own, as we would be by intimate friends who let us down. Love is badly hurt by its own. So, that's the first one. In his last coming, all flesh shall see the salvation of our God, and they shall look on him whom they have pierced. So, there's a link. But then the other coming is hidden. In it, only the chosen see him within themselves. And that's the Angelus we said at the end. By the way, the Angelus should be always said with the Church if possible, inhabited Ireland, thank God, on the media, whole country should pause and honour the Incarnation. The other coming is hidden. In it, only the chosen see him within themselves, and their souls are saved. In brief, his first coming was in the flesh and in weakness. This intermediary coming is in the Spirit and in power. The last coming will be in glory and majesty. And if this is not happening, all our Advent is in vain, and Christmas to boot. There was, I think it was last year, a First Communion celebrated not far from here. I think it must have been in Navan somewhere. Yes, it was, I believe, where the little child was being preened and all kinds of lovely things being done to her with her hair and her dress. And at the last minute they found that they had to get that sorted properly, and the mother as well. And they got to the point where actually they were going to be late or even not make it in time for the Holy Communion itself, the First Communion in church. But that didn't matter, they went straight to the hotel and they were able to have the feast itself without Jesus. Thomas Merton ha questo insegnamento incluso in un libro che ha scritto quando era eremita, Pane nel deserto. Gesù ha compassione della folla, dà il nutrimento del pane e poi del corpo, ma in questo momento ancora solo il pane dell'insegnamento. E questo pane dell'insegnamento era percepito, ricevuto con fame nel deserto, il vacuo, un vacuum che permette all'anima di percepire la forza della parola. Noi siamo svantaggiati su questo punto, non si sente più l'eco della parola, ci sono troppe parole, siamo contaminati da troppe parole. Il deserto va anche protetto, un'ora santa e un'ora di intimità, appunto di vacuo, di maniera che la parola passi e si senta. Nel miracolo della moltiplicazione abbiamo la potenza divina, le tre persone sono insieme, il Padre crea, il Figlio comanda e lo fa per amore, che è lo Spirito Santo. Ho parlato con persone che hanno visto questo miracolo più di una volta, capita ancora quando necessità c'è. E questa stessa provvidenza pensa anche a noi. Il miracoloso è eccezionale, però la provvidenza è costante. E io vedo qui in questo modo, dicono che era un miracolo perpetuo di provvidenza, tutto arriva e al momento giusto. È una cosa tranquilla. Dio dice sì, ci penso io, pensa tu a me. E in questo momento l'ascolto della Chiesa, l'attesa della Chiesa deve essere un po' il deserto. L'Avvento dovrebbe essere più tranquillo, come la Quaresima. La preparazione si fa con un'attesa fatta un po' di semplificazione. Purtroppo non è sempre così, è tutto il contrario. E arrivando a Gesù non ci pensa a Lui, ma alla preparazione. La preparazione è tutto quello che circonda. L'anno scorso a Navan c'era il caso interessante che un bambino stava per fare la prima comunione, i capelli erano pronti o quasi pronti, tutto era quasi pronto, però mancava qualcosa e stava aspettando di fare questo, andando per fare dunque le preparative, mi sono trovato, erano in ritardo per la messa stessa, per la prima comunione, o non importa, si va come tutto come di solito all'hotel dopo per la festa, e si fa la prima comunione senza ricevere Gesù e avendo fatto i capelli. Sarà forse questo anche Natale per tante anime.
Vieni, Signore. Signore.